A huge shout out to ConFoo. Is this anybody's first ConFoo? Sweet, it's my first ConFoo too. Did anybody see me give a talk yesterday? Was anybody with me yesterday? Cool. Well, you came back. Thank you, I appreciate that. You liked what I was doing, that's cool. Yeah, so this is my first ConFoo. Really stoked to be here. I love coming over to Canada. So yeah, if you see any of the organizers or the volunteers that make this event happen, and this is a big community over here. It's really amazing to see. Shake their hand if you know they do that. Give them a dap. Give them a pat on the back. Tell them thank you for helping to keep the developer community moving, keep the developer community going. I would really appreciate that. If you could thank the sponsors as well, that's a huge piece to what we're doing here in the developer community. If it wasn't for sponsors, we wouldn't have events, right? We wouldn't have community. And we almost lost community, in my opinion, a few years ago. Now, my job is community. That's what I do for a living. I travel around the world and I talk about technology and I write blog posts and I build community here, internally, externally, all over the place. So I hold dev community extremely near and dear to my heart. And we almost lost that. So if you do get a chance, make sure you thank your sponsors because it takes money for these events to happen. And without that, we kind of lose that spark, right? We're here to learn and engage and mentor each other and have fun and teach. And it's something sacred you should hold, close to you because there's nothing better than developer community. That's me. My name is Chris Demars. I'm from Metro Detroit, born and raised. I work at TuxCare as a senior developer advocate. I work on the front-end ecosystem of our product, one of our products. Does anybody know what TuxCare is? Familiar with TuxCare? Cool. Is everybody familiar with the term endless lifecycle support? A little bit? Cool. So one of the products that we have at TuxCare, we offer endless lifecycle support for open source libraries, apps, frameworks. So let's say you're running older versions of Angular, AngularJS, Vue, Next, Python, Java, Spring, whatever the case may be. We patch those security vulnerabilities for you. When they're no longer patched, they're end of life. There's no community patches, there's no more vendor patching. We patch those for you and you bring in and pull in our dependencies and we patch those direct and transitive dependencies for you for the life of the time you're working with us. We also have another product called Kernel Care. So if you're running Linux systems, it's live rebootless patching for 70 plus Linux distros. So that's pretty cool. That way there's no downtime for you. They get patched on the fly live and you can keep your systems up and running. So that's pretty cool. You can catch me on Twitter at Sultan Burnham. You can also catch me on Blue Sky, chrisdemars.net. Is everybody still on Twitter? Oh, jeez. What about Blue Sky? Is anybody on Blue Sky? All right. Is anybody on Mastodon still? People still do Mastodon? No? Yeah. I tried to mess with Mastodon once, and I couldn't do it. So I stick with Twitter. It'll never be X. It will always be Twitter and Blue Sky. A little bit about me. I am a paranormal enthusiast, so if you like ghosts and the paranormal, you came to the right talk. I am a competitive bass angler, so I fish for money. If you like to fish, we can talk. And I also play competitive paintball. I've actually played against teams here in Montreal. I used to play on a league in Ontario for the Ontario Paintball League. So you want to know anything about that, let me know. And if you are doing anything with social media, it doesn't have to be Twitter, Blue Sky, I don't care, LinkedIn. If you throw hashtag developer community on that tweet or picture, whatever you're doing, that would be awesome. This kind of goes back to my passion and my love for the developer community. This is also a good way to track engagement across socials, see what you're talking about, see what talks you like, what talks are happening, what you're doing at the conference, who you met in the hallway track. Because you can learn all day long in this room, right? And we can connect on an education level, but you're not gonna build the community here. The community is gonna be built out there. There's this thing that we have called the hallway track, and that is where the developer community is built, and also, getting a coffee and lunch and dinner, that's where the community is built. So if you could throw this hashtag on there, hashtag developer community, I would be super, super stoked. The show notes, so we have this thing called the show notes. And if you want to scan this QR code, you'll be able to get these slides. I'm recording the talk for myself. I should have the talk edited and up by next week. The resources are also available as well. And you can fill out enough form on there to win a prize, too, if you wanted to. I think we have like a webcam or something that you can win, or you can be notified when the video drops. So, but right now, the slides are there, the resources are there, and the video should be up early next week. I'll also have this at the end of the talk as well. I also believe in cryptids, UFOs, and ghosts. So hopefully you're here so we can learn a little bit about that stuff. Does everybody believe in Bigfoot? Oh, come on. Does anybody have a favorite cryptid? Oh man, y'all are killing me. Jeez. Does anybody believe in UFOs, UAPs? I like that. More than I had yesterday in my crowd. What about ghosts? Does anybody believe in ghosts? Ooh, I love it. I love it. Cool. Well, thank you for coming to my talk. It is called Ghosts in the Machine, Tampering with the JS Supply Chain. So if you came to see this, you're in the right place. I just want to give a little information here. All JavaScript is haunted. I don't care what you say. It's all haunted. I have a love-hate relationship with JavaScript. I've been a front-end developer for 30 years, developer advocate for a long time as well. How many front-end devs are in here? Back-end devs? Cool, awesome. Yeah, all JavaScript is haunted. It is the way it is. JavaScript was written in 10 days. We are still suffering from those same bugs that were written in 1997. Thanks a lot. I'm not going to mention their name, but all JavaScript is haunted, and that's just the way it is. So I want to kind of go through the agenda. We're going to talk about the hook first, what's going to bring that in. We're going to talk about some stories, not real stories. Unless you want to talk about ghost stories, we can. That's totally fine with me. We're going to talk about the investigation, and then we're also going to talk about the shield, how to prep and defend yourself, things to look out for, and we're going to go from there. So, first things first, the hook. This is going to be a little loud. This is kind of scary, okay? So think about this for a minute. NPM is huge, right? It is big. Millions of packages. Millions of packages. Millions of downloads. All the time. If you look at your node modules folder, the vastness it is what it is. If you could think about it like a forest of mystery, a haunted forest, it just keeps going and going and going. We've all seen this, right? Right? Come on. The heaviest objects in the universe. We have the sun, the neutron star, the black hole, and then the node modules keeps going and going and going. Have you ever just opened up your node modules and looked in there? Yeah, is it fun? No. Do you open up your node modules and open up a package and look inside the package? You do? Do you look inside the package JSON files within the package of the package? You do? Really? Oh, that's okay, good. Then you might know what I'm talking about today. But it's just infinite, right? And there's so much that is in there. And I mean, personally me, I'm not going into my node modules and looking at package JSON files or packages for a specific reason. And I'll get into that reason as we keep moving forward. So let's talk about the ghost stories a little bit. How do these things happen? How does one open themselves up for a malicious attack? How does one put in a vulnerability to break a part of the supply chain? Most security incidents were linked to unapplied patches. Now, what does that mean? There was a patch that was out there, a company patched it, right, or a team patched it, but it was never applied to that stack, to that project, right? That's not good. The numbers, 60.4% of incidents occurred while a patch was available but not applied. Now, I'm going to highlight that specifically. A patch was available, but it was not applied. 60.4%. That's a big number, right? That's a big number. I have traveled and I've built a community, and I've kind of worked in web accessibility for many years. And when I talk about web accessibility and we talk about user experience, security is part of the user experience. I don't care what you say. There's always three things that always are put on the back burner until shit hits the fan. Do we know what those three things are?
Tests.
What, say it again?
Tests.
Sure, yeah, because tests will help fix those problems. But the three, yeah.
Is it cheating if I heard you say them yesterday?
Yeah, you, shh. Yeah, you don't, yeah, you, no. Accessibility, performance, and security, right? Someone can't use the website because of a low-hanging fruit color contrast issue. Oh, we got to fix it. Well, we could have fixed that a while ago, right? Someone can't use our application because of a bad connection, right? We didn't cache our resources, et cetera, et cetera. If you're into the PWA world, progressive web apps, I still love PWAs. We could have fixed that early on. And now someone can't hit our website, so now what are they going to do? They're going to go somewhere else, especially if you work in e-commerce, right? The whole point is to make money in e-commerce, let's be real. And then someone didn't apply a patch to a product or a package in your project, and now we're having security issues. And API keys are being stolen, variables are being changed, package lock files are changing, and even though we didn't add anything to them, right? These are all things that we need to be cognizant of. So why am I telling you this? Beyond the obvious reasons, right? It all has to do with supply chain when we're talking about security. It's not just code, it's everything that goes into it, right? It's everything that we rely on. And the further down the chain you go, the more vulnerability that you are going to accept. It's just the way it is, right? You can think of, let me go back. You can think of it like this. The top is your application. It's kind of like a Jenga board game, right? Everybody played Jenga, maybe as a kid, or big Jenga, like a bar or something, right? If there's a break in something, it can keep trickling down and break, and everything could crash, right? So that's one of the reasons why we really have to be cognizant of supply chain and security when we are building and we are shipping these applications. Is anybody familiar with this? The Shai-Hulud worm, right? Everybody, how many people are Dune fans? I've never seen it. Cool, so you understand this. So last year, there was a big attack that happened, and it was called the Shai-Hulud worm. There was actually, I believe, 2 attacks. One was a modified Shai-Hulud worm attack, but that was all based on this package right here, @control/tinycolor. Supply chain attack, self-propagating malware, infects 40 plus NPM packages. That NPM package had 2 million weekly downloads. Critical level, severe. It was really, really high. A lot of packages were affected by that. This package, it is a direct dependency, but it is also used as a transitive dependency a lot of the times. And all this is a color function. That's all it is. But because someone wasn't cognizant about vulnerability management or scanning their stuff or creating SBOMs and VEX reports, we ran into this issue. So that brings me into the world of transitive dependencies. Transitive dependencies, they are often overlooked because, like I was saying, chances are you're not jumping into your node modules. You're not looking at the packages within those. You're not looking at the package JSON files and the lock files. Why? I can give you my reason. My reason is because the person that created that package is probably 100 times smarter than I am, right? There are brilliant people out there that are doing amazing things with these packages. We probably use, how many are using open source on the daily? Probably all of us, right? Because some of our systems, even though we might have a closed source system, it's using open source software. I trust those developers. I trust those open source contributors. I trust those maintainers. to build packages that are going to work for me and my use cases. I just do. We put a lot of inherent trust in these packages and these developers. We just do it. If you're building stuff and you're shipping it and people are using it, people are putting trust in you that you're doing the right thing. You're building it. They don't have to. Even, they might be smart to do it, right? But I know personally, I am not a JavaScript wizard or Python, whatever the case may be, right? So I'm going to trust developers to build these projects, these packages, and then I'm going to pull them in. It's a major source of supply chain attacks. Most of the time, the supply chain attacks come from your transitive dependencies because you can hide things in there that are going to be often overlooked. So, what is a transitive dependency? Does everybody know what a transitive dependency is? Anybody not familiar with a transitive dependency? That's cool. It's totally fine. We're here to learn. So what a transitive dependency is, it's a package that is automatically included because another package requires it, right? So essentially that package is coming along for the ride if you didn't specifically install it. Does that make sense? Cool. So for instance, let's take this little chunk of an Angular package JSON file, right? If we install Angular version 20, these are direct dependencies that are installed when we install Angular. We can see that in our package JSON file. But let's take RxJS, for instance. If you were to go into the RxJS package, and you were to go in the node modules, well, inside the node modules to look at the RxJS package, and you look at that package JSON file, you are going to see this dependency, tslib, right? Did you install that specifically? No, you didn't install that. It came along for the ride when you installed Angular and Angular brought in RxJS, which is a direct dependency. This is a transitive dependency of RxJS. If you didn't hop into your RxJS package and look at that package JSON, you wouldn't even know this exists. Unless you're trying to install other stuff, maybe a version of Node is out of date. This throws an error in the terminal. You never know. But that is an example of a transitive dependency. Now, if you want to know how many dependencies you have in your project, we have a way to do it. Has everybody like working in the terminal? What's everybody's favorite terminal to use today? Just regular terminal? Does anybody use Warp? I use Warp. I'm a huge fan of Warp. Does anybody use Ghosty? What about iTerm 2? Everybody still use? Okay, cool. Sweet. So you can run npm ls in your terminal. Here I'm just running it in this project, another Angular project. Cool, that's it, done. Those are my packages. Awesome, we got them. Now, there seems like there's not enough packages there, right? Why wouldn't we want to show all of them? I mean, all of them. Thousands. Buffer overload in the terminal, right? You might kill your terminal, VS Code, whatever your integrated terminal is in. It might not be able to handle all of that. You can do it, though, if you run npm ls-all. You can list out all of the dependencies that are within that project. You just open up your terminal, npm ls-all, and it'll run, and it'll scroll, and it'll scroll some more. We might do 45 minutes. Scroll. So does anybody have any good jokes while this runs? I mean, we can BS.
Would it be kind of listing the npm lockfile? Is it kind of the equivalent of that?
No.
Okay.
It does stop eventually, trust me. I mean, there we go. So it's done. Those are all the dependencies of that project, right? You don't have to do that. Or that's a way to do it if you wanted to look into that. I talked about SBOMs yesterday. I'm not going to talk much about SBOMs today, if at all. Is everybody familiar with an SBOM? What an SBOM is?
No.
Software bill of materials? Cool, that's awesome. You should have been in my talk yesterday. Should have been in my talk yesterday. Just kidding. Software bill of materials, you can sort of think of it like a recipe to create a dish that you're going to eat, or a flight manifest, or a package manifest. It gives you all the information, licenses, versions, hashes, etc., that are in your project. That's your software bill of materials. And then you have Vex reports, which is sort of the same. But the one thing to keep in mind is that a package JSON, a package lock, a bun lock, and a yarn lock are not SBOMs. That does not qualify as an SBOM. All of those will make up a generated SBOM, because an SBOM tool like Sift is going to go through, it's going to look at your node modules, package JSON, package lock, all that stuff, and then it's going to generate a machine-readable SBOM, software bill of materials. There is a tool that you can use called JQ that will format that JSON file, because it'll spit out a JSON file in Cyclone DX or SPDX. Those are two kind of popular SBOM formats. It'll spit that out in a machine readable, just line after line after line. There's no spacing. You can use JQ to format that. It'll pretty print it, regenerate a pretty printed SBOM that you can read, pass off to an architecture team, etc. Have that artifact on hand to pass it off to a client or a customer. Is everybody cool with that? Sweet. Has anybody heard of this term before? Typo squatting? Really? Okay. Is anybody not familiar with this term? Perfect. Awesome. Bless you. So what typo squatting is, an attacker registers a package that is off by a letter or has too many letters, right? It's off by a letter or has too many letters. So there's two different types of versions of this. And I talked about this yesterday. One of them is registering a domain that is almost the same as something that's popular. How many of you, including myself, because I've done it, have typed in your address bar guthub.com, right? We just do it. Muscle memory, we're just doing it, but the I and the U, they're right next to each other, so you screw up. Does it redirect to github.com? Yes. Is that github.com safe, secure, owned by GitHub? I'm pretty sure it is. But that's one example of typo squatting. Another one is this here. This is how this happens. This is a specific one. So, is everybody familiar with cross CNV? Cool, so you know. So an attacker uses a similar name to cross CNV and just remove that dash and put it together, right? They even wrapped it in the exact same functionality of the original module in order to convey that the module is indeed working, it is a legit module, and what it did in practice was it captured environment variables. You don't want that to happen, right? It's something that you do not want to do. And they can control remote servers, etc. They can get into your systems. But that is an example of typo squatting, right? Another example I like to show is if you're installing Express. You're building out a front-end app, you got to build out some API functionality. You type npm I express, but you forget to type or hit the S key twice, right? I'm sure we've done that before. Maybe not specifically for Express. I'm not going to check in my package JSON file. I'm not going to check in my node modules folder to see if it's in there. I'll say, oh, oh, look, my terminal said it was good. Oh, I got distracted. I'm sure it's fine. Everything's gravy. And now we could be into some issues because we're not paying attention. And we're not cognizant, or we don't have any scanning in place. Excuse me. So typo squatting, being cognizant and aware of typo squatting. Especially...
In general, there's a pretty nasty typo squatting technique where they'll use a letter that looks like a Latin letter that's really like Serbian or some other language.
Yeah.
Is that a thing in this context?
It could be, because it could be any letter. It could be off by any letter or extra, right? So just be aware. And I'm not pointing fingers on anybody. Even senior developers this could happen to. But anybody, right? It doesn't matter. Junior, mid, if you're not paying attention, these things can happen. Is anybody familiar with dependency confusion? Cool. We're learning all types of stuff this morning. I love it. I love it. Is everybody still with me and still awake? Cool. Everybody still going to be here tomorrow? Cool. I have to fly home tomorrow, but I appreciate y'all being here. Nearly 49% of organizations are exposed to risks of a dependency confusion attack. Now, what this looks like is when an organization uses both a private and a public NPM registry, and you run npm install. If you don't have your pipeline, your CI/CD pipeline hooked up and configured properly, when you go to install something, it will bypass the private registry and automatically download from the public one. That can cause a lot of issues. So there's a little demo, I have a recorded demo here of kind of how this looks. Hopefully everybody can see it. So I'm using a tool called Verdaccio, and it's pretty sweet. So I have two packages that I created. I have a scoped package and I have a malicious package. Now you could think it could be, this is just for demos, right? So I'm running npm run dev. Over here on this side, I'm running Verdaccio, which is like a local npm registry where you can publish packages, but it will never go to npm's registry. So you can test stuff, right? So I made a malicious package and I made a package that wasn't malicious. One scoped, one isn't. So you go in, let me see if I can run that again. Did it? Let's see. So if I change it from my org/legit package, which is the scoped one, the one we need, and let's say there's another one out there that is the same exact name, but it's not scoped. I'm just calling this malicious package to show the differences. This is how we want the UI to look. It's running Vite, it's cool, we got a button, awesome, it'll do some counting. But let's say that we install a package that looks just like that, but it's not scoped. So we called it malicious package. The button is the same. We import it, we put it in, demo button is the same within the legit package and the demo package. But now, the colors are all inverted. You get an alert saying that your system is being hacked because you weren't cognizant of dependency confusion and you installed the wrong package. And that's how that works. If you want to see a demo of this too, like afterwards, I can show it to you. But that you have to keep one thing in mind when we're talking about dependency confusion, and that's scoping your packages. Make sure that your whatever company or whatever project that you're working on, if you're going to publish something, if you scope it with an @ symbol and then organization or your name / your awesome package, that helps with dependency confusion. Because now that package is coming directly from your private repo and not a public repo. You don't want weird stuff like this happening on your machine, right? And it can happen. So let's talk about the investigation. Doing some digging into your project to see what is going on. So let's talk about a package lock. It's automatically generated when you install with npm, right? You got your package JSON, you got your package lock file. Same if you're using Yarn. It's intended to be committed into source repositories, and it serves various purposes, right? So for one, it describes a single representation of a dependency tree, right? So all the dependencies that are going to be in the project. You can sort of think about it as a time travel manifesto, because you can see what has been installed over time. There's visibility of changes that are happening within that package lock. And then you have you optimize the installation process, and then you get a complete picture of your package tree. One of the things I say to stay away from is, like how using carrots and like, I forgot what the name of that squiggly thing is. Does everybody know what the squiggly? Tilde, there we go. How many of us use tilde on a daily basis in our vocabulary? No, you don't. Put your hand down. No, you don't. You're a liar. Removing those, because you want to make sure that your packages are pinned to a specific version. That way they're not upgraded. You start installing stuff, then you can have a lot of issues with that and dependency issues, and one gets installed here and another, and it can cause a lot of issues. So you want to kind of stay away from that. One thing too to keep in mind, always, always, always commit your lock files. Always do that. It's integral and it's a piece of the puzzle, because if you don't do your lock file, someone else does. You pull the repo down, you install stuff, and you put it out there, you recommit it, push it up to GitHub, you're going to have a lot of issues. There are red flags to look out for when We are working with supply chain, transitive dependencies, dependency confusion, etc. And packages in open source. If there are 0 GitHub stars in that package, I'd be a little nervous to install that, right? If it's a new author, brand new, maybe they don't even have an avatar, right? Usually you set up GitHub, you have an avatar, you put your information, you have a bio. New author, I've never heard of this person before, especially if you're heavy in open source. Sounds a little sus to me. And then odd names, right? You can sort of think about this. How many people believe in ghosts? Put your hands up. Has anybody been on a paranormal investigation before? So I've done that. I actually have equipment, all types of equipment. And there's this thing, there's K2 meters, there's REM pods, and a REM pod can sense magnetic fields, so it'll go off. So you can sort of think of it like this a little bit, if it plays. There we go.
Did you die in this room? Bingo.
So the K2 meter goes off, the REM pod goes off, and they don't know why, right?
So you died in this room.
Keep that in mind. I mean, this is a convoluted example, but you can sort of think of it the same way, right? Weird stuff is happening, you don't know why. It's sort of the same thing. You're asking questions, you're not getting answers, then you get answers. And then we have the shield, or a way to defend against these issues, right? NPM audit or Yarn audit are good ways to start. You can go beyond NPM and Yarn audit though. I did have a demo for this, and this is the demo I said that borked on me this morning. But you can use NPM audit. It'll give you CVE vulnerabilities. It'll tell you how many vulnerabilities are in that package after you install it. Same thing with Yarn. So that's a good starting point. But you can go beyond NPM audit. You can use tools like Dependabot. It's built right into GitHub, right? You just go into your security, Dependabot, and this will give you a list of all of the things that are screwed up. I know you probably hate Dependabot emails every single day. I do. But there's valuable information in here, and it's built right in. It'll tell you the CVEs, the versions, etc. that were affected, and how to fix them. There's another tool out there. Is everybody familiar with Sneak? Sneak's awesome. I got a lot of friends that are at Sneak. My buddy Micah, he's actually here from Sneak. And I don't know if he gave a talk today or he's going to talk tomorrow. But this is a cool tool that they use, or that you can use. You just import this is from a UFO talk I do. But you can import your project from GitHub, GitLab, go into your package JSON, and this will give you a rundown of issues. Priority score, the package, the severity level, the issues, the CVE affected, the CVSS score. CVE stands for Common Vulnerability and Exposures. And it usually has an ID that goes along with it. The ID is CVE dash, the year that CVE was identified, so 2025, 2026, dash, and then it also has a unique identifier. There's plenty of websites out there that track CVEs. We do it at TuxCare, so we know what to patch and how to patch those things. But there's vast databases out there of various CVEs for all different types of languages, libraries, frameworks, open source tooling, operating systems, etc. So if you're not using Sneak, you could check this out. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't work for Sneak, but I got a lot of great friends there. They do amazing, amazing things. So I got 10 minutes. We're going to wrap this. Some takeaways. Assume nothing, right? Assume nothing at the end of the day. Keep it secure. Same with accessibility. Build your experiences to be amazing, accessible, secure, and performant. Pin your versions so you can keep a stable version of your software, your package. Commit your lock files, always. If you have the opportunity and you can do it, scope those private packages. It's something to look into. Just another way to help you stay secure. And then you can implement SCA tooling, software composition analysis tooling, which is kind of like what Sneak does in Dependabot. I'll leave you with this. This is great. Risk is risk. This is from Endor Labs. It doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, we're building software that needs to be secure. Risk is risk always. It does not matter. Here are the show notes again, if anybody didn't get a chance to scan that QR code. And if you can't get it all the way in the back of the room, like you can just come to my machine and scan it if it doesn't work. Like I said, I should have the video up by next week, early next week, because then I got to fly back out to another conference. Is anybody working Java? Is anybody going to be at DevNexus in Atlanta, Georgia next week? No? If you ever get a chance to go to DevNexus, it's every February, March. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's been going on for years. It's the biggest Java event in the United States. I usually am there giving talks on front-end technology, but we're going to be there sponsoring. A lot of cool people are going to be there, a lot of good friends. Venkat Subramanian, he's going to be pretty sure he's keynoting. He's always there. So if you get a chance to go next year, definitely check out DevNexus in the States, if you want to go to the States, or if you want to travel anywhere. It's a really, really good event. There's a couple other ones, but DevNexus is pretty sweet. That's me. Thank you again. We almost hit the time, so I appreciate everybody sticking around. I'll be around probably not trying to talk too much, but thank you so much.